Hey, everybody. Welcome to Improv FAQ at Length. This is a show where we have long conversations about improv topics that have lots of questions surrounding them. And we're joined by Nicole Pascaretta.
Yay! So happy.
What up?
What is
Happy to
up?
be here. So happy to be here. Love your work.
Hell yeah. And Nicole, so, I guess my introduction for you is just that we have worked together in lots of ways. You've worked together with Julia in lots of ways. You're also a Detroit to New York transplant. And the topic of this conversation is going to be energy levels. And the reason that we wanted to talk to you about it is because you have a uniquely explosive energy as a performer, and
yes,
it's an amazing
as
quality of yours, and as a person, absolutely.
It's
an amazing quality of yours, and I know also as somebody that has worked with you as a teacher, coach, or director that it's something that you have struggled with harnessing so that you can play a wider range of energies and let loose and have that explosive energy when it serves you, and dial it back when it doesn't necessarily serve you best. And so I thought it would be a really great conversation topic to chat with you about and just get your experience with it as you've gone through your improv journey. So yeah, we'll start with just, I don't know, your first thoughts on it, and then we'll see where the conversation takes us from there. Okay.
Okay. Let me
So,
get
yeah.
this out.
When we brought this topic up, what are like, you told me that like it's something that you're still working on, and like
Yeah.
many of us, there are things that we'll never be able to stop working on. Otherwise, maybe we would just quit improv. Why? Yeah. So what are your first thoughts like on this topic when you hear that you're going to be able to talk about it?
So when you first asked me, I was like, yes, this makes sense. I have experienced this my whole performing career, my whole life. And I also was scared because I was like, I definitely haven't figured it out or completely harnessed it. It definitely still like leaches out of me. And I'm like, darn it. Like, especially if I haven't performed in a while, it's all loose, and like it's definitely something that I have to consciously like work on, and like the more reps I get, the better I am at like controlling it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about like being in Detroit, when you were doing more shows on a regular basis and having more opportunities to work in different group dynamics that gave you different goals that around this or any other performing quality that you wanted to work on. Coming to New York, was there a different light on it that came up for you, or did you find yourself at like a new stage able to leave behind some old habits or anything like that?
Both. An interesting thing between Detroit and New York is people in Detroit like know me very well, and they know when I'm doing that. They understand it. They almost like my teammates would almost like support and like be like, we know Nicole can like bring this out, so we're gonna like gift her with things. But here, like, I found myself like performing in it not translating or being understood, or just being like, it's so intense that I don't understand what you're saying. And and especially when I'm nervous, it comes out. So especially moving here, I was like, oh, like not anything I do that's big and Nicole is going to work. Like a lot of times when it's with my friends, they'll be like, oh, like Nicole's being Nicole, even if it doesn't always make sense, or if it's a little wacky, it like makes sense to people who know me. But if you have no basis, you're like, what? Confused.
Oh my hand. That's so interesting, because it's like your positivity, your energy is so celebrated around here. I just thought that would be. I didn't think that would be a regional thing, because as for someone who's shared a stage with you, I love it, because there's so many people who are the exact opposite, who don't bring energy. They bring interesting dialogue or unique characters or something, but they don't sell it the way you do, and I love that because it's also very contagious. So
Yeah.
like not only do you bring it to the stage, you bring it out of everybody. It's so much fun to play that way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and so just to, Bob, I'm curious, just so maybe we can frame the conversation for the three of us a little better. Bob, you are also, I think, have like very high peaks and valleys of energy, where you can go to a 10 and to like a 10 that most people can't go to when you want to go there.
Yeah.
How do you think about tapping into it when you need it, or holding back when you need it?
Well, I think of two things. I think of what does the scene need and what does the set need. If I've already done a couple high energy things at the top of the set, I want to back it down so I'm not just that guy. Like a one trick pony that does a really cool jump and does it in every scene. But sometimes I find myself in a set with people who don't have that energy. Maybe the drive to Pointless was too long, or whatever zapped it out of you. And I just I came to play. So if if you can't catch up, I'm sorry, but man, I hit the ball and I run as fast as I can.
Yeah. Well,
welcome to improv.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely contagious. And I guess, how has it been being here a couple of years now, Nicole? Like getting a whole new set of performer friends and peers to get to know you on and off stage.
Yeah, it has gotten better. And that's like the thing too, as I'm thinking, as we're talking, like, I feel like even when I first started out in Detroit, it was, and even the way I'm talking about it right now at first, it comes off as a negative. And that's why it was so annoying to me, because I'm like, this is my gift. This is what makes me different. And it is frustrating that is considered a negative when someone who's really good at being grounded, this is what I used to get frustrated by. Someone who's really good at being grounded is obviously told to have more energy, but not to the extent that I do it, or others, a lot of others do as well. But I know that is only certain people can do that, and it is a gift. And so that's what I had to look at it as. It's like a gift, and like you said, Bob, if I do it every time, it's not special. But if I come out in a scene, I remember, James, you told me this too, because this is what I do when I am in a set, what I consciously, when I am well-oiled and performing a lot, it's I'm more in the game to be okay, I'm gonna do different levels, like you said. I just played a big character, I'm gonna be more a grounded character. But the thing I was struggling with at first was when I would do the grounded character, I would just be hey.
Yeah.
Sup? I'm doing it right. But there was no life there. So I remember I had multiple auditions. Where the people judging me would literally say, you got to show us something else or you don't get it. And I'd be all right, y'all. So then I would be hello, everyone. So awkward. Nothing's there.
No,
and
I get it.
It was, yeah.
No, because I've gotten a note a couple times too. You got to pull back. You got to pull back. And being in a room with someone else, like you said, you're standing next to a guy who wasn't pulling back or who always pulls back, and they're getting the opposite note, and I'm, it's a little confusing at first. Yeah. And I get the note when it's you're a distraction, but also I think it's because I've definitely if I haven't done a showdown in a while and I do one, there's a difference. And I'm sorry to anybody who's ever had to be on a stage with me during those. But I'm legitimately having fun, and I can't contain myself because I love performing so much.
Yeah, and so it is tough because I think big energy can sometimes. I guess trying to put it in the right mindset where it's it's not a bad thing strictly that you have this kind of energy or that energy is used in any given scene. like most things, it's about balance and being able to work with everybody in different playing styles. But loud and big energy can feel, I think, more overwhelming than somebody's low energy doesn't feel as overwhelming in a direct way to, you know what I mean? Like bigger energy. So it's like it's often kind of flagged as like an a note just because it's more overt. It's more like present. It's more there. And yeah, I would hope that people who had like lower energy get pushed to get bigger energy, but it's not like can't tell somebody with low energy that it drowned out the rest of the show or anything. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So it's like I can see why, but it probably gets an unbalanced amount of attention or harped on more, and feels a little bit more like hey, can you we're all trying to just be chill or whatever. But you know, it's tough. Nicole, how have you dealt with a little bit, you know, finding your own relationship with it being a positive thing? You talked a little bit about it, but like, what kind of stages have you gone through and things that may open you up to the more positive side of it?
Yeah, so it definitely felt like, I couldn't be myself at first. Like, because that is, like, and that's the thing about it is, like you guys were saying, it is genuinely how I am. So I'm not like putting on this facade, like I'm trying to be this shit, like get all the attention. So it came natural to me, and it felt like, well, this is me grounded or whatever. So it was just kind of very confusing, and it did feel like, well, this is my thing that makes me different, but I need to be more like everyone else. So it was very confusing. And then when I worked on it, I realized how it was so much better to use it like for those special moments. And James, I remember you specifically worked with me on this in a troupe. We, as a troupe, did an exercise where 1 through 10, start at a 1, like do this scene at a level 1 and do it in a level 4 amount of energy. And do it as a level 3, like, and what those like little varying differences can mean in energy. Like, you don't have to be like completely dead, but you,
or just
you know?
or calibrated. Yeah, that was with Unicornucopia, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And that was the first time that like someone worked with did an exercise and worked with me at it, because I like couldn't connect it. I just felt like I can't be me, which was like me being a little like angst. But
so that's awesome.
Well, I can't be me,
so like Nicole, like before a show or anything, do you do like the opposite of a warm up? Do you do like a cool down, like because I tell you what, I do. So I was wondering if that is like, you know, we get some style. Is there something you do to like, oh, I better get this nervous energy and disperse it somehow? What do you? And can I ask what it is, or is that personal? Like, is that your?
Sorry, I'm excited that you said that.
No, please. Yeah.
Do it! Let him talk, Nicole. Let the man talk.
I don't need to talk. You're talking.
Nicole, find your 6. Find your number 6. You can be a 6.
Oh, see, it is contagious though. Puck.
Yeah, and don't you have trouble listening, Nicole, when you're at a 20? That's another thing. Listen to Bob, then respond. See, people, still working on it. But it's so I didn't realize, the reason I got so excited is because I didn't realize this until you just said that. But I actually got Hug Squared, a troupe I was a part of. Am a part of. They're not. Okay, anyway. We would meditate before every show.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm the one that asked if we could, because before our first show, my heart was like beating out of its eyeball. Like, I was like, I can't do this. Like, we were all like so nervous. And one of our troupe members, Aaron Mondry, is very into yoga and meditation. And I was like, Aaron, please lead us in a meditation. I'm freaking out. And we all laid on the ground and meditated. And we had an amazing set. And we did it every show. So good question.
That's awesome.
Wait, what do you do, Bob? if we can ask.
It's okay. So if it's before a showdown, it starts out about 2 hours before the showdown even goes down. I feel so sorry for my neighbors because I rock the fuck out. I will put on all my favorite. I have a specific playlist I listen to, and from the moment I realize it's time to get ready, shower and all that stuff, shave, get ready for the show, it is a one man like
jam
show.
session.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I try to keep it at a 20 for as long as I can. So it's like taking a puppy for a walk. Like you try to tire it out before bring it back in the house. That's what I do. I try to just get everything out. So like by the time on stage, like my 20s now, everybody's 10. Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know you do that. Although I have spent the night on your couch and had you. I know that you do some rocking out in the shower as your morning routine.
Yeah.
Gets them started.
Oh man.
So yeah, so kind of all right. Let me go back to the idea that like people harp on you about it, and so like at the end of it all, again, it's about balance. But I feel like when you're I imagine that like when you have something as overt as the kind of energy that you have, Nicole, and I know that from talking to you that like you do get overwhelmed with the notes and the repetitive notes, and probably a lot of people feel like they're giving you the note either for the first time or in a first new way, but for you, you're like it's fatiguing you. And I remember when you were still in classes, I don't know, or maybe it was after, and you were working with indie troops and whatnot, but like you took a workshop with Dan Izzo.
Oh yeah.
And you came out of it, and Dan Izzo is one of my favorite coaches. And he has a really uncanny ability to like tap into people and tell them exactly what they need to like, unlock whatever it is, whoever they are as a performer. And you were like, it was so great. And actually Dan told me to unleash, to let loose, he was like, you're wrapped up. You're so tightly like bound right now. Like, I just want to give you free reign to, go big and run free. And, I was like, man, that really spelled out for me what it must like to be in your shoes, to be getting that note so much and be working on it so hard while you're developing as a performer, that somebody has to tell you to do the thing you're good at or natural at because you're containing it so much.
Yes.
Well, do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about it, but yeah, that was amazing. And that's when I like went from being like looking at it negatively and thinking of it as like it is a positive, and like it is a great thing as an improviser and as an actor to be well-rounded and have being able to do it all. And it felt like a longer road than like maybe another improviser would go through in a different way. But it's so much more rewarding to work those muscles and to be able to do both. It's obviously worth it. I was very frustrated by it. That's why I'm not a negative person, but I do have like a lot of like it stings. Like there's when you bring it up, I'm like, oh, because it was really hard, and like, and the only way you can like get through it is reps and performing with different people. And that's what I've like noticed in New York, performing with different people who have different styles than even Detroit. That has brought out a different type, like a different performance in me too, which has been cool. But yeah.
What kind of when is it that you try to balance the scales in your more recent performances? Like, do you kind of consciously look for things that you can do full out no limit energy? I mean, like Parent Trap is one where like there's everything that you bring to the table, everything that is your strong suit, like it's to by design, like meant to kind of highlight those things about you and Julia. Do you also still look for opportunities to challenge yourself or people to play with that are gonna you know, that are also going to play high energy, and you have to play contrasting energy too, or like, how do you now, how do you, if you know that you need to play cool, straight energy, what's the help? What are the helpful things for you right now in your performance?
So physicality is a big thing. And I think that's a big thing in my performing style. I think if I'm like containing myself more, like if I like when I'm going full out, I'm like dancing and like turning and like expelling so much energy, but I try to contain it more in like my physicality, and that like I think leashes everything else a little bit more. And I try to like let something else inspire me, like with whatever I'm going in with, to like follow a more, it's hard to explain, like if my initiation, I will try to make it more like calm and grounded, like energy. And I just hope it stays, because I can't pop out of it like and it's like, no, you just went into an English accent and did a high kick that doesn't match your character. So it's almost like so that happens, but it's like, okay, I'm choosing to sit in this chair and be like either like, oh, like I'm a quiet girl, or like, you know, like you need to get, okay, I'm not doing improv right now, but like I'm trying, like I try to go I try to go into character and like have energy there, but not have it be like this on the Richter scales. Like it was kind of, it's so hard to, I'm trying to put it into words about like in a set. But I do feel like it would be like my initiation or my character. I'm like choosing like, or even like a move, like just different initiations, like an emotion. Like it's not going to be an intense one. It's just going to be like, I kind of like this person or whatever, you know? It's so hard to explain.
That's a really good point.
You lead with, I'm trying to think about it now too, what kind of stuff I've seen you, in your performance do, and I feel like you do lead with kind of like gesture or like these little things that will kind of be like, okay, this is kind of where my character's home base will be. And I wonder if you kind of think about character in terms of like musicality, because when you get to like tone of voice, you know, whether it's the voices you were just playing around with now of like, well, this is kind of like a hoity-toity character, or hey, you know, this is like a whatever character. I wonder if do you think about like what note a character is, or like, you know what I mean? What
like a Peter and a Wolf type situation?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what kind of musical energy a character has.
Honestly, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I think that is it, because it's like what I'm going into it with, like vocally, physically, and the more energetic ones are like the louder and the, but I do like go in like, you're going to be a grounded character right now.
Okay, so it's something that you consciously are like, okay, time for the grounded one, or like this one's going to be grounded.
I mean, sometimes it's I feel like when I'm free and I just go out there blank canvas, it's going to be a higher energy. But I have gone in blank canvas and been like, I'm going to let the other person initiate, and I'm probably going to be grounded. Or, you know, like, those are like, but if it's like, especially if maybe it's my first scene, I'll start high energy because that's where I'm most comfortable. And I want people to, you know, so like I start strong because that's how I feel strong, but, and then later on, like pull back or
take care of both sides of it.
Yeah. Which kind of brings me on something I wanted to talk to you about. When I used to see you play with Dynasty, I would notice more, for lack of better terms, like a more subtle characters out of you. And I was wondering if that was because that'd be easier to sing, because like it was always scene and then a song, scene and a song. I thought maybe if you come at it at a 10, it might be hard to sing a song at a 10 depending on what the melody was and, you know, the song structure, if you will.
I actually think Dynasty weirdly was like extremely patient with our play.
Yeah, yes.
We were like, wasn't planned. It always happened that way.
Yeah.
And I think that even I'm in a duo with Sean Cantatori in New York, and I feel like that when you're in a trio or a duo, you're out there more. So you're not thinking. I think that's it. Like,
so you feel like if you're in a larger group, you're like, "Whoo, this one's my turn," yeah, or like there's less pressure. Like, is there less pressure? Like, what do you mean? What makes the difference for the fewer people versus larger numbers?
oh man, I think when I'm on the sideline watching like what my teammates are doing, it's like, you know, we're all thinking like, put this in my back pocket, or like, oh, they're playing this energy level, or like I'm gonna come out and, you know, be big and have my moment, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to take away, but like if I only get out there for a few scenes, like yeah.
I think that makes perfect sense. And I think that's absolutely relatable. Is that like you're only gonna get one that like you're gonna like you said, Bob. Like, I'm here to play. Like,
I love that so much.
Yeah. I didn't come here to have my one scene be.
Yeah, I didn't come to get 3 seconds of stage time and play a straight man. I'm going for it. Yeah. Going full clown nose.
Hell yeah.
Okay. We've been talking about a lot of high energy, so I think I kind of want to talk about your energy, James, because you're talking about playing with levels, and I think that's where most of your momentum comes from when you play. Because you can start off as a straight man and then do something with your like eyebrows, and then like, oh, what's this fucker doing? And then it becomes this weird thing, or just the way you hold it, like you become the bendy doll, if you will, like the.
Yeah, I think earlier in my improv learning, I you know, always wanted to be like a cartoon character on stage. It was like always the way I thought about what I wanted to get out of performing is like do things a cartoon can do, because improv you can do things that you can't do in normal other forms of play. But then, I started to balance it out and then go to like, I need to work on my grounded character. I found out about places or shows like TJ and Dave, or this idea of like slow play or patient play. And I wanted to exercise that more. And so I started to really get, more than anything, fixated on balance and variety and dynamics. And it's interesting because realistically, I would say now one of my biggest challenges is that when I can't let loose the way that I used to back in the days when I was just always trying to be like a cartoon character on stage. It's something that I now have to make a conscious effort toward to be like, now I want to go big energy. But I mean, it really does. I love playing subtle, and I love being able to connect with a wide variety of people in different playing styles. But there's definitely stretches of time where I'm like, I just feel like I haven't really let loose in a show lately. And I've been trying to tend to that in the last year or so. But I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Do you do a warm up or anything? Like, we brought up warm ups too. I was kind of curious. Whenever we got, is there a James Casada warm up that like a go to? And let me ask you both this: is there? Me and Nicole have ones we do by, or I have one I do by myself. Nicole has one you do with like your troupe. So do you guys have ones you do by yourself, and one do you do with your troupe? Like, and is there a difference? And you know, why?
My personal warm-up is generally just a stretch, and I try to stretch. I kind of go into like these Spider-Man poses of just like,
oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. Just trying to get my
those.
Yeah, just to like spread, you know.
Yeah, no. I've definitely seen him do. Well, I've traveled so much with James. I've seen this like
Oh,
and then
for
like
sure.
stare at his
Just, like,
shoulder
super-
for a minute, and then like,
Yeah,
what's the other shoulder look like?
Just angular stuff, yeah. Because if I am gonna like really need, if I'm gonna be thankful that I stretched out, it's because I played like a coat hanger on stage or something. So like
Right.
I just want to kind of like be prepared for that, and that's really my warm up. Group wise, one of my favorites, which is going to be hard to demonstrate by myself, Alex Marr and I, when we were playing as a duo, and this is when I like first started, we would do improvised patty cake, and we would just kind of like let me get my mic out of the way here. We would just kind of like patty cake and do like random patty cake stuff. And both of us would be doing random movements, but every once in a while we would kind of like randomly connect like two hands or and it would just like it would make us laugh so hard, the fucking randomness of it. And that to me was like the my favorite warm up that I've had in the past. What about you guys?
I already told you about my personal one.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones. Yeah, that's a show. Like that's my own show. One of my favorite ones when I was with my launch group, Vulcan Hipsters. We used to try to get food like before the show, and I just, I already took care of my energy. Right now, I just want to connect with these people, and I know doing eights when you first get started is kind of fun, but I just wanted like, how was your week? Like who am I playing with? What is your mind? I've already known these people for so long, but I want to know all the variables before I get on stage. So, if you just broke up with your girlfriend or, you're happy because you got a new job, let's hear about it. Let's see what kind of mood you're in, where your head's at. Is there any stories we can draw from to fuck with you on stage? Cause that's always fun, even if it's just for us, those kind of things. Cause it brings you closer together, and the quicker you guys can get off, can form a troupe and get the shorthand going, the better you are, I think. I don't know.
I love that.
How about you, Nicole?
I agree with both of you. I like to stretch. I do some high kicks. Gotta do those high kicks because you never know when you're gonna high kick.
Yeah.
I also learned this from Kara Troutman. I do strong poses similar to the Spider-Man, but it's just like I always just like just wide arms, like
yeah. Empowering poses, right?
yeah, power poses. Like,
oh yeah, the Superman.
I remember because it was her workshop is get the beep out of your head, and like even when she would say even do it on the back line if you're feeling a little off, just go like this, and that's why I'm the weird energy girl of the troupe. No, just kidding. I love that. And I also just like bring in my people, yeah, we got this. And my favorite warm up, I like doing singing warm ups. So just like, I feel like even they're more loose, like just like pointing at you, like sing a verse, and you're like, da-da-da-da-da. Those are my favorite times.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think actually some of my favorite warm-ups in general are when you do multiple warm-ups at the same time. If you can like find rules that kind of overlap with each other. Yeah. Because that gets you if you have enough time to do that and a space to do that, if I'm playing with like a group of 8, that would be my choice of a way to warm up is like, can we do a kind of like pass the snap and then mind meld and then yes, you crossing, whatever, and can we do 3 warm-ups at the same time to really stretch our attention and get into a flow?
Yeah, I agree. It's always best to work like the different types of things.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting. I think no matter what the warm-up is or however it is that you're getting connected as a group, it definitely plays a difference in like whatever your playing style is, whether it's high energy or grounded or whatever. Like there's more trust in it, so that you're not, Nicole, you were talking about being self-conscious with new people in your playing style, and I felt that way too. That like there's kind of those more cartoony things or real subtle slow play that I get self-conscious about if I don't know the people I'm playing with well enough.
That's funny. I am glad you brought that up because I think trust is like huge for that. If you can't fully let out at all if you don't trust the group you were with. Actually, when I came home over the holidays in December, I did a musical set with Rockamatic, and I just went so hard. I hit the pavement to the wall, and I'm like, I have not performed that hard in a long time. And it was so cool because it was like, I'm home, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know, like, and obviously people knew me that were there, but like, I was doing the weirdest shit. Can we swear?
Of course.
Yeah, I've sworn so many times.
I was doing like the weirdest stuff that did not make sense. The troupe was like so supportive and the audience was loving it. It was so much fun. And like, when you were bringing up, James, that like, you're like, oh, I don't let myself let it rip like I used to. That was like a little thing like, oh, I haven't let myself rip like I used to either. Yeah. And I didn't realize it. Like, I've definitely like felt like I'd had really good shows where I've been myself. But it's interesting, I think, when your trust and comfortability brings out the best in anyone, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. That's another interesting point. So I know we've all had an opportunity to play with people we don't know.
Yeah.
How do you approach that? Like, what is your mindset going into that set? Like, if you ever get thrown into or invited to play with a troupe from out of town, or you're out of town, you get to play with somebody. Yeah, I've had a couple of opportunities to do that, and it's great. It's great, but I play slightly different. Actually, I think I play a little bit harder because no one knows me in the city. I can fall on my face. It's great. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I found that a lot of the time, I would guess that most of the time, a troupe that has a guest wants to feature the guest, and it's like, hey, we invited you to play with us. We really want to, like, I'll wait on the back line. You do the first scene because, like, get out there, feel comfortable, man, jump in with us. And most guests are like, no, it's your show. I'll you guys do what you do. I'll slip in, deeper into it when y'all have taken the reins. So I try to play. I'm always ready to play in the first scene if I'm a guest because I feel like that's a difference in what people want between the troupe and the guest. And so I'm like, I feel like if they're going to jump on the first scene, they will. But if there's any pocket of you go first, then I'll be in the first scene, and then I'll know that they want to feature me, and I'll play a little bit more dominantly or frequently than I would in a normal set.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only exception would be if they're doing some form that I'm not familiar with, and I would say like, hey, let me just see the edit or how you guys do things for a beat, and then I'll jump in. But other than that, if you're just doing montage, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I've been on the other side, like having a guest play with one of my troops. Yeah, come on, man. I want to see what you do. I want to see how this changes. This is interesting to me as well. Let's go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've had like a varying of experiences in that situation. I always just pray that I'm myself. Because I hate when I'm trying to be like, and I don't know, I wonder if it is like it's obviously nerves, but like from the past of me trying to be someone else. But literally, like, my goal is just like, do your normal thing, like, be normal, be you. But it's like in those high pressure situations, or like, you don't know how they'll like how you play or vice versa. Like, I've had some really bad shows in that way. And it's like, dang, this is such a cool opportunity. I'm playing with X. Yeah. Oh, dang it. I sucked, but I was there. Yeah. So, like, in those moments, I'm just like, when it's clicking, I'm like, thank you, whoever is helping me from above.
No, because you get so excited. And and you almost
Oh my
become like
God.
an audience member on stage. Like, look at all this fun's going on. Like, yeah, you should join in sometime. Oh, yes, I shall.
Yeah. I do think that hopefully since I moved to New York, like playing with different people and having random mashup sets like has helped that. But that's always been like a really hard thing for me. Like, just be yourself.
Yeah. Well, maybe this can be the last topic that we touch on before we bring it to a close is performing under pressure. Like especially when it comes to different energy levels, sometimes you can overcompensate. And what have been some things that have helped you? I mean, realistically, Nicole, what you're saying is that like sometimes you just are gonna be awkward or not yourself, and that's just the consequence of like pressure having an uncontrollable effect, and it happens, and those are growing experiences. But like for the times that we've been able to have those experiences and grow through them, like what have you learned, or what would you tell somebody earlier in their experience level to be helpful about getting tapping into the right energy under pressure?
So I think a big thing, it's weirdly mindset, like going in, like I remember when festivals were like, I mean, they still can be high pressured situations. Oh, yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm looking at this festival as if it's a celebration. Like we made it into the festival. Like it's not about performing the best we can do. It's more about like just having fun. And I do think that like things like meditating and like calming down, like breathing, like just to get the energy like in a controlled spot. But I do think it is like mind over matter for a lot of it. It's like getting yourself in a right calm spot. Like I need to be calm before I go out there or else I'm going to be chaotic energy. And like even crap, I had something else. I forgot.
Well, go ahead.
Wait.
Well, I'll just piggyback on what you were just saying, because that's a great point. That warm-ups are not always about how they affect each and every performance. It's about when you are feeling off, having something familiar in a routine to touch base with, to connect with and center yourself, that you do all the time. So it's not like some people are like, I don't do warm-ups. It's like, well, when you're having an off day, you're going to wish you did.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's almost like, you know, like preparing for a game in a sport. It's like getting in the right headspace. And like you were saying, like, Bob, with talking with your team, it's like being connected with each other, like literally looking at each other in the eye and like having a connection before you hit the stage. And like also just knowing that people want to watch a good show. They don't want you to fail. They're not like, I hope that she starts speaking a language that doesn't exist, you know, because that happens.
Oh my God. I just realized that because I never considered what I do before a show so much a warm up. Like anything I do, like I have my rituals. That's why I've always called them rituals, like superstitious rituals I do. Like, yeah, it's a warm up, because like using James' definition, like, yeah, that's a warm up. That's it, you know. And that's a great reason. I never solidified why I did it, but it does make sense. You need that routine. You need, as a performer, you need to get your head right. You need to be ready to get out there. You know, not be your own best back line, I guess. You know, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird how a lot of things, even like a lot of this is reminding me of singing lessons. This is weird, but like it's a lot of things about singing is like visualizing and like seeing like your voice, like you visualize. You're like, we should have cut right before this.
Oh no.
Like when you're singing in your high voice, you literally visualize singing like through your mask. You visualize your voice going through a part of your head. That's so weird. Yeah. And it works. But that's why I feel like a lot of things with performing is mental. And like, if I'm like, then that's how I'm going to be on stage, you know?
I'm sorry, your audio cut out. If you're like, what?
There was no sound with that, Bob. But yeah, and even
I'm not in charge of audio.
Turn it up. But even when you're singing quietly, my teacher was like, you still have to have energy behind it. You can't just be like, like you still have to have energy when you're singing like soft and quiet. So that's the key, is if you're being grounded and quiet, and it's like you can still be an energy being and be at a 2.
Yeah.
And you still have to have that presence, that stage presence, even if you're like, want more cheese, you know?
Yeah, that's great. I think, in terms of this idea of high and low energy or active and inactive energy, it's the difference between kinetic and potential, right? It's like grounded energy is not the absence of energy, it's just energy in a different form. And the same thing with big explosive energy is that it's in a different form. And so, you know, just because you dial that back or no matter what playing style you have to treat it as energy, just in a particular form, higher potential, higher kinetic.
Yeah, and with that high energy, you have to be able to control it. And that's where the, like, you can still have all that energy, but you have to be in control. And that's the truth.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of presence. And you know, I'm just thinking about like what advice. It's interesting. Like anytime I like Julia is like a competitive person. She's an athlete. She has done sports. She's a runner, like, you know, marathons, and like, so I know that like she actually kind of thrives under pressure. So if she's kind of feeling nervous, I'm like, hey, you're gonna have to go perform. Like it's not a good solution to tell her to like relax or calm down. It's more to be like, use it. You know, that just remember that you can do this. Whereas some people, it's like, you do need to tell them to calm down, because like being self-conscious is going to get in their way and not have relaxed energy. So it's tricky. It's like,
well, there's a difference between having anxiety and having energy, you know, and so yes. And sometimes the two meet as well, you know. You can have both at the same time. I think we've all been guilty of that, but and you just gotta recognize what it is. Like, is this you being playful, or is this you overcompensating? And there's a difference in play as well. Like, me at a 10 just being me, and me at a 10 because, oh my God, it's an audition, is totally different. And there's art to it. That's the art. Like, and this is so nerdy. I'm gonna preface this with that.
Oh, we should have cut 5 minutes ago. Damn. No,
I think we're all nerds here.
I think we might all be nerds.
So I always thought of it in my mind as that dude Cyclops from X-Men. Like, he need like, his power is he has laser eyes, and if he doesn't, and he can't control it, he can't use his eyelids to control it. He has to have those special glasses, and anytime those glasses get knocked off, that's anxiety. So the art is the glasses, and anything that knocks your glasses off, that's what you got to deal with at that moment. Rather than calm down. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that's
nerd psychology 101 with Bob Wick.
Channel your energy. Think what would Professor X say? Okay, well, this has been such an awesome conversation, and I could, I mean, honestly, even just at the tail end there about how to turn performance energy on, or how to harness and channel it. I feel like there's so much more we could talk about, but I feel like we covered a lot of really great ground. And Nicole, thank you so much for sharing your personal experience with all of that. And it's been a really great conversation to hear your thoughts and reflection on it. Do you have? You're doing some virtual shows during this time, right?
Yes.
What do you got going on?
I'm performing with Freeze Frame, the improvised musical sitcom, on Twitch TV, or Twitch, the NYC Improv channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We have a show this Sunday at 9.
Okay. This
But
is
we
probably
have random dates. But
I should have said this before. This will probably it's the 27th of April now. And this will probably come out in like a week or 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks. But
oh yeah.
So you're generally playing with Freeze Frame the Musical, that people can look for, and what else?
That's like for improv virtual shows, I'd say. But I'm trying to do something with Julia and Sean in general.
Oh, cool.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So hopefully posting some content at some point when I can be creative.
How coy was that? I'm working on some things. Don't you worry.
Just go to my Instagram and refresh.
Right?
Okay, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us to talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my God, I feel like I learned more about my problem. That's not a problem,
sister. It's your gift.
It's a gift.
gift.
It's your superpower.
It starts off
Yeah.
as a problem, turns into a gift, then becomes your weapon. James, you told me it was my
Just
weapon.
like Cyclops.
Oh.
Boom.
You told me it was my weapon. You're like, if you can control it, it's a weapon.
That makes James Professor X. All right.
I do gotta say, I've been sitting on. I just wish so badly I had the kind of stage resource from working with Go Comedy, but like I've wanted for so long to do a show called Super Mutant Improv, where you have like designated superpowers. So maybe this will be a reminder to try to get something like that going down the road. But okay, that's going to be it for this talk, and it's been a great one. Nicole, take care, and we'll catch you next time on Improv.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.